Most people spend their lives looking sideways. They look at what someone else is doing, what someone else has achieved, what someone else owns, what someone else posts online, and they slowly lose themselves in comparison. They wake up every day measuring their progress against other people instead of measuring it against their own potential. And that is one of the fastest ways to destroy your future. Because when your eyes are locked on everybody else, you stop seeing the opportunities standing right in front of you. The energy you waste watching others could be the same energy that transforms your life. Your greatest competition has never been another person. Your greatest competition is the person you were yesterday. The world notices results, but it rarely notices the sacrifice behind them. People see success and say, wow, that happened fast. They don't see the nights when you stayed up learning while everyone else slept. They don't see the moments you wanted to quit but kept pushing. They don't see the discipline, the loneliness, the self-doubt, and the choices you made when nobody was watching. If you truly want to shock everyone, stop trying to impress them. Stop announcing every plan. Stop explaining every dream. Stop seeking validation. Put your head down and go to work in silence. Because when your actions become louder than your words, people will have no choice but to notice. Your life changes the moment you become obsessed with growth. Not interested in growth. Obsessed with it. Interested people make excuses. Obsessed people make progress. If you want a different life, you have to become a different person. Read the books others ignore. Learn the skills others avoid. Build habits that other people think are unnecessary. Every day you improve yourself by even 1%, you create momentum. Small actions repeated consistently create massive outcomes. Success isn't built in one dramatic moment. It's built in thousands of ordinary moments repeated over and over again. You cannot control what people think about you. You cannot control opinions, criticism, jealousy, or doubt. There will always be people who misunderstand your journey. There will always be people who laugh at your goals because they don't have the courage to chase their own. But remember something. Criticism often comes from people sitting in the audience while you're on the field. Don't let people who are doing less than you define what is possible for your life. Their limits are not your limits. There is another version of you waiting to emerge, a stronger version, a more confident version, a disciplined version, a version that doesn't get distracted by negativity, doesn't get pulled into drama, and doesn't quit when things become difficult. That version already exists inside you, but it only appears when you demand more from yourself. Greatness isn't created by comfort. Greatness is created by pressure, challenges, and commitment. The pain of discipline is temporary, but the pain of regret can stay with you for years. So focus on yourself, build yourself, improve yourself, invest in yourself. While everyone else is busy chasing attention, chase progress. While everyone else is arguing, keep learning. While everyone else is talking, keep working. Then one day people will look at your life and wonder how everything changed. They'll think you got lucky. They'll think success suddenly arrived. But you will know the truth. You focused on becoming better every single day, and that is how you shock everyone. Many people spend a large part of their lives looking at someone else's journey instead of building their own. They scroll through social media and see people buying houses, traveling to exciting places, launching businesses, achieving success, or reaching goals they once dreamed of for themselves. Slowly, without even realizing it, they begin to compare their lives to what they see. A dangerous thought enters the mind. I'm behind. But comparison has a way of hiding reality. You are comparing your everyday struggles to someone else's highlight reel. You are comparing your beginning to someone else's middle, or even their finish line. What makes this so destructive is that it steals attention from the only life you truly have the power to improve, your own. Every minute spent staring at another person's path is a minute not spent creating your own future. The truth is that every human being has a completely different story, different battles, different opportunities, and different timing. Some people discover success early in life, while others uncover their purpose much later. Some people appear to move quickly, but behind their progress are years of unseen work, failures, and sacrifices. Life is not a race where everyone starts at the same point and runs on the same road. Imagine planting different seeds in a garden. A flower and a tree do not grow at the same speed, but that does not mean one is failing while the other is succeeding. The flower blooms quickly, while the tree takes longer to develop roots. Yet years later, the tree stands tall and strong. Your journey has its own timing, and comparing it with someone else's timeline only creates unnecessary pressure. One of the biggest reasons comparison becomes so dangerous is because it quietly destroys confidence. A person who constantly watches others begins to forget their own strengths. They stop noticing their own progress because they become obsessed with measuring themselves against someone else's achievements. Suddenly, even victories begin to feel small. Imagine climbing a mountain and refusing to look down at how far you've come because you are too busy looking at someone standing on a different mountain. You lose the ability to appreciate your own effort. You fail to celebrate the small steps that are leading you towards something greater. Confidence does not grow from comparing yourself to others. Confidence grows when you recognize your own development and respect the process you are going through. There is an incredible power that appears when you stop looking sideways and start looking within. When you shift your attention from others to yourself, something changes inside you. You begin asking different questions. Instead of saying, "Why are they ahead of me?" you ask, "How can I become stronger today?" Instead of feeling jealous, you become curious. Instead of feeling defeated, you become motivated. Suddenly your focus is no longer on competition with the world. It becomes about personal growth. You begin to notice opportunities that were always around you but hidden beneath distraction. Your mind becomes clearer because it is no longer crowded with unnecessary comparisons. Think about athletes who become legends in their fields. The greatest performers are rarely obsessed with defeating everyone around them every single day. They are obsessed with improving themselves. They study their weaknesses, sharpen their skills, practice relentlessly, and focus on becoming better than they were yesterday. They understand that real growth happens internally before it appears externally. Success is not built by constantly checking what someone else is doing. Success is built by asking yourself difficult questions and putting in consistent effort when nobody is watching. Greatness comes from personal discipline, not endless comparison. Imagine waking up every morning with only one mission: to improve one small part of yourself. Maybe you become a little more disciplined, a little more patient, a little more skilled, or a little more confident than you were the day before. At first, the changes might seem invisible, almost too small to matter. But over time, those tiny improvements begin stacking on top of each other like bricks building a powerful structure. Months later, years later, you look back and realize you are no longer the same person. The person you once compared yourself to no longer matters because you have become focused on creating a version of yourself that is stronger, wiser, and far beyond what you once believed was possible. Every human being wakes up with the same 24 hours in a day, yet the difference between those who transform their lives and those who remain stuck often comes down to one thing: where their energy goes. Energy is one of the most valuable resources a person has because once it is spent, it can never be recovered. Many people give away their energy without realizing it. They spend hours watching what others are doing, worrying about other people's opinions, discussing drama that has nothing to do with their future, and investing emotions into things they cannot control. Slowly, their focus becomes scattered in 100 different directions. At the end of the day, they feel exhausted, not because they worked hard toward their dreams, but because they spent their strength feeding distractions. Imagine how powerful life could become if all that energy was redirected toward building something meaningful for yourself. Think about how often people become spectators in their own lives. Instead of creating, they consume. Instead of building, they observe. They sit and watch others chase dreams, start businesses, improve their bodies, learn new skills, and achieve goals while telling themselves that one day they will begin their own journey. But that day often never arrives because observing can create the illusion of progress. Watching motivational videos does not replace action. Admiring successful people does not automatically create success. Looking at someone else's life cannot improve your own circumstances. There comes a point where inspiration must turn into action. Otherwise, a person can spend years standing on the sidelines while life continues moving forward without them. The most successful people understand something powerful. Attention is like a spotlight. Wherever you direct, it becomes stronger. If you constantly focus on problems, your problems seem bigger. If you constantly focus on negativity, negativity begins controlling your thoughts. If you focus on fear, fear grows louder. But when you focus your attention on learning, discipline, health, and personal growth, those things begin expanding in your life. Your mind starts searching for opportunities instead of excuses. Your actions start creating momentum instead of hesitation. Suddenly you stop feeling like life is happening to you, and you begin feeling like you are actively shaping your future with every decision you make. Many people underestimate the impact of small daily choices. They think success requires one massive breakthrough, one perfect opportunity, or one extraordinary moment. But often, life changes through small decisions repeated consistently over time. Imagine taking even 1 hour every day that was previously spent on distractions and using it for something meaningful. 1 hour learning a new skill, 1 hour exercising, 1 hour reading books that strengthen your thinking, 1 hour working on a dream you have postponed for years. It might not seem dramatic at first, but weeks become months and months become years. Eventually, that small investment begins creating results that appear impossible to those who never understood the value of focused energy. There is something deeply empowering about becoming responsible for where your energy goes. Instead of allowing circumstances to control your mind, you begin making conscious choices. You stop arguing with people who drain you. You stop chasing approval from people who do not understand your vision. You stop giving unnecessary attention to things that add no value to your life. You begin protecting your peace and guarding your time because you realize they are connected to your future. Your mind becomes lighter because it is no longer carrying unnecessary burdens. You begin feeling stronger not because life suddenly becomes easier, but because your focus becomes sharper. Imagine waking up every day with a clear purpose guiding your actions. Imagine knowing exactly where your attention belongs and refusing to let distractions steal it away. While others are caught in endless noise, confusion, and comparison, you are quietly investing your energy into becoming better than you were yesterday. Day after day, your confidence grows because you can see yourself moving forward. The world around you may still be busy and chaotic, but inside you there is direction, clarity, and determination. And over time, the energy once wasted on watching others begins building a life that others eventually stop and admire. Many people love to talk about their dreams long before they begin working for them. They announce their goals, tell everyone about their plans, and paint beautiful pictures of the future they want to create. There is excitement in speaking about success because words can make us feel powerful for a moment. People around us may encourage us, praise our ambitions, or admire our confidence. But there is a hidden danger in constantly talking about what you are going to do instead of focusing on actually doing it. Sometimes people become addicted to the feeling of being seen as successful before they have earned success. They become attached to attention rather than progress. The world is filled with people making loud promises, but the individuals who truly change their lives are often the ones working quietly while everyone else is busy talking. Working in silence does not mean hiding your dreams because you are afraid. It means protecting your vision from unnecessary noise and distractions. Not everyone will understand your journey, And not everyone will support your goals. Some people will question you, some will doubt you, and others may laugh at your ambitions because they cannot imagine achieving something greater themselves. When you constantly explain your plans, you also expose yourself to opinions that can weaken your confidence. Negative words have a strange way of staying in the mind. One small comment from someone can create doubt that follows you for weeks or months. Working in silence allows your dreams to grow without being interrupted by voices that do not belong in your future. There is something incredibly powerful about moving quietly while building something meaningful. Imagine a construction site where workers arrive every day and place brick after brick without announcing every small step. The foundation is built beneath the surface long before people see a beautiful building standing tall. Success works the same way. Real progress often happens in places nobody notices. It happens in the early mornings when you choose discipline over comfort. It happens late at night when you continue learning while others sleep. It happens during difficult moments when nobody is clapping for you and nobody even knows you are trying. The strongest foundations in life are built in silence because true growth rarely needs an audience. One reason people struggle with silent work is because human beings naturally want recognition. We enjoy hearing encouragement and seeing appreciation from others. We want people to notice our effort and tell us that we are doing well. But depending too much on external validation can become dangerous because motivation built on attention often disappears when attention fades away. Imagine running a race while constantly looking into the crowd to see who is cheering for you. Eventually, you lose focus on the track itself. Your progress slows because your eyes are no longer fixed on where you are going. When you work in silence, you learn how to build motivation from within. You begin developing strength that does not depend on applause. Think about some of the greatest transformations people experience in life. They often seem sudden from the outside. Someone loses weight, builds a successful business, masters a skill, or completely changes their life, and people around them say, "That happened so fast." But what they did not see were the countless invisible days behind that transformation. They did not see the sacrifices, the discipline, the failures, the practice, and the consistency that happened away from public attention. Results appear publicly, but progress is usually private. People notice the harvest, but they rarely notice the planting season that came before it. Imagine surprising everyone not because you made loud promises, but because your results became impossible to ignore. Imagine disappearing from distractions, reducing unnecessary conversations, and becoming deeply focused on your own growth. While others are busy telling the world what they plan to become, you are quietly becoming it. Day after day, you continue improving without seeking recognition. Months later, people begin asking questions. They wonder what changed, they wonder how you did it. And while they are shocked by the results, you already know the answer. Your actions became stronger than your words, and your silent effort created a future that finally spoke for itself. From a very young age, many people begin developing a habit they do not even realize is controlling their lives. They start seeking approval. A child looks toward parents for praise, a student looks toward teachers for recognition, and later an adult begins looking toward friends, society, or even strangers for acceptance. Slowly, life turns into a performance where every action is influenced by one question: what will people think? Without noticing it, dreams become smaller, choices become safer, and potential becomes limited. Instead of making decisions based on passion, purpose, and personal goals, people begin building their lives around applause. The problem with living for approval is that the opinions of others change constantly. If you depend on them for direction, your path will keep changing too. Imagine standing in the middle of a crowded room where every person is shouting different instructions at you. One person says go left, another says go right, someone says slow down, while another says move faster. If you tried listening to every voice, you would eventually become confused and frozen in place. This is exactly what happens when people constantly seek validation. Everyone has a different opinion about what success looks like, how life should be lived, and what choices should be made. If you allow every voice to influence your decisions, you lose the ability to hear your own. The danger is not criticism itself. The danger is allowing outside opinions to become louder than your own purpose. Many of the greatest opportunities in life require courage because they often look unusual at the beginning. People rarely celebrate an idea before it succeeds. A person starting a business may hear that it is risky. Someone chasing an ambitious dream may hear that it is unrealistic. A person changing their life may hear that they are wasting time. History is filled with individuals who face doubt before they experience success. The reason is simple: people often believe only in what they can already see. They struggle to trust possibilities that have not yet become reality. If you wait for everyone around you to approve your vision before taking action, you may spend years waiting for permission that never comes. There is a powerful shift that happens when you stop depending on external validation and begin trusting your own journey. Suddenly your energy changes. Instead of asking people whether your dreams are good enough, you start asking yourself whether your effort is strong enough. Instead of needing encouragement every day, you develop discipline. Instead of searching for approval, you search for progress. This mindset creates freedom because your emotions are no longer controlled by praise or criticism. You become less distracted by what others think and more committed to what you believe. Growth becomes personal rather than performative. People who rely heavily on validation often experience emotional highs and lows that control their confidence. When others praise them, they feel strong and motivated. When criticism appears, they begin questioning themselves. Their confidence becomes tied to outside reactions instead of internal strength. But true confidence is built differently. It is built through promises you make to yourself and consistently keep. Every time you show up when you do not feel like it, every time you continue despite fear, every time you remain disciplined without anyone watching, you create trust in yourself. That trust becomes stronger than any compliment because it comes from evidence created through action. Imagine waking up every morning with a purpose that does not need anyone else's approval to exist. Imagine pursuing goals because they matter deeply to you rather than because they impress other people. While others are exhausted trying to satisfy everyone around them, you move forward with clarity and peace. You stop wasting energy trying to prove your worth because you understand something powerful: your value was never determined by applause. The people around you may cheer, criticize, support, or doubt you, but your journey continues regardless. And when you finally reach the life you have been building, it becomes even more meaningful because it was created through your own belief, not borrowed confidence from the crowd. Many people say they want to grow, but there is a huge difference between wanting growth and becoming completely committed to it. Wanting something is easy because almost everyone wants a better life, better opportunities, more success, and greater happiness. People love the idea of improvement because it sounds exciting and inspiring. But the reality of growth is very different from the fantasy. Growth demands sacrifice. It asks for discipline when comfort feels easier. It asks for consistency when motivation disappears. It asks you to continue moving forward even when progress seems invisible. The truth is that interested people participate only when conditions feel perfect, but committed people continue even when circumstances become difficult. The level of your dedication often determines the level of your transformation. Imagine planting a seed and expecting a tree to appear the next morning. Most people would call that unrealistic, yet many individuals treat their own lives this way. They start learning a new skill, exercising, improving themselves, or chasing a goal, and after a short period without visible results, frustration begins to grow. They think nothing is changing, so they quit. What they fail to understand is that growth often begins beneath the surface. Before a tree rises above the ground, Roots are expanding where nobody can see them. Human growth follows the same process. Long before confidence becomes visible, inner strength is being developed. Long before success appears publicly, discipline and character are quietly taking shape in private moments. People who become obsessed with growth begin seeing life differently. Instead of viewing challenges as obstacles designed to stop them, they start viewing challenges as opportunities designed to strengthen them. Failure no longer becomes proof that they are incapable. It becomes feedback that teaches them how to improve. Difficult situations no longer feel like punishments, but become training grounds for a stronger future. This shift in thinking changes everything because growth is not simply about reaching a destination. Growth is about becoming someone capable of handling greater responsibilities, greater opportunities, and greater success. The person you become during the journey often matters more than the destination itself. There are moments in every person's life when comfort becomes extremely tempting. Comfort tells you to sleep longer, wait until tomorrow, avoid difficult tasks, and remain in familiar situations. Comfort feels safe because it protects you from struggle and uncertainty. But comfort has a hidden cost. While it feels pleasant in the present, it slowly limits your future. Growth lives in places that feel uncomfortable. It lives in difficult conversations, challenging experiences, disciplined routines, and moments where you push beyond what feels easy. Every major breakthrough in life usually begins with a decision to move beyond the limits of comfort and enter a place of temporary discomfort. Think about the greatest athletes, leaders, creators, and achievers in the world. They did not become extraordinary because they waited to feel motivated every day. Motivation rises and falls like waves. Some mornings you feel powerful, while other mornings you feel tired and uncertain. If success depended entirely on motivation, very few people would achieve anything meaningful. What separates high performers is often their relationship with discipline. They continue practicing when excitement fades. They continue learning when progress slows down. They continue showing up because they understand that repetition creates mastery. Greatness is rarely built through occasional effort. It is built through consistent actions repeated over long periods of time. Imagine waking up every day with a deep hunger to become stronger than you were yesterday. Imagine seeing each day as an opportunity rather than an obligation. Instead of asking life for easier circumstances, you begin asking yourself for greater strength. You become excited by the possibility of improvement because you understand that every small effort is shaping the future version of yourself. Day after day, you continue building habits, knowledge, confidence, and resilience. At first, people around you may not notice anything changing, but eventually your growth becomes impossible to ignore because the person standing in front of them is no longer the person you used to be. Many people dream about changing their lives, but they often underestimate the power hidden inside ordinary daily habits. They wait for a dramatic moment, a life-changing opportunity, or a sudden burst of motivation that will transform everything overnight. They imagine success arriving through one massive action instead of understanding that greatness is usually built through small, repeated behaviors. The reality is that your life is not shaped by what you do once in a while. It is shaped by what you do consistently. A single healthy meal does not create health, just as one workout does not create strength. One productive day does not create success, and one good decision does not instantly change your future. But when small actions are repeated day after day, they slowly begin creating a life that looks completely different from where you started. Think of habits as invisible architects quietly designing your future while you are busy living your everyday life. Every action you repeat becomes a brick placed into the structure of who you are becoming. The interesting thing is that habits often feel too small to matter in the moment. Reading 10 pages of a book seems insignificant. Practicing a skill for 30 minutes seems unimportant. Saving a little money every day appears too small to make a difference. But over time, these small actions begin accumulating. What once looked like tiny efforts slowly turns into knowledge, skill, confidence, discipline, and achievement. The smallest habits can create the biggest outcomes because they work silently in the background while most people fail to notice their impact. There is a reason why many people struggle to maintain positive habits, even though they understand their importance. Human beings naturally seek comfort and immediate rewards. The mind loves quick pleasure because it feels satisfying right now. Sleeping longer feels easier than waking up early. Watching endless entertainment feels more enjoyable than learning something challenging. Avoiding difficult work feels more comfortable than facing it. But every habit comes with a price. Some habits give comfort today and regret tomorrow, while other habits require effort today, but reward you in the future. The difficult truth is that people often choose temporary comfort without realizing they are quietly trading away long-term opportunities. Successful individuals understand something powerful about habits. They remove dependence on feelings. If people waited until they felt motivated before taking action, progress would become unpredictable. Some days motivation is strong, while other days it disappears completely. Habits create structure because they teach you how to act even when emotions change. Imagine brushing your teeth every morning. You probably do not spend time debating whether you feel inspired to do it. You simply do it because it has become automatic. Now imagine building the same level of consistency around reading, exercising, practicing skills, or working toward goals. Progress begins accelerating because actions are no longer controlled by mood. Many people believe that major success requires major effort every single day, and that belief often becomes overwhelming. They think they need to completely change their lives overnight, so they create impossible routines and unrealistic expectations. They push themselves intensely for a short period and eventually burn out. But lasting change rarely begins with giant steps. It usually starts with small, manageable actions repeated consistently. A person who reads a few pages daily can finish many books in a year. Someone exercising for short periods regularly can completely transform their health. A small habit may not look impressive today, but consistency gives ordinary actions extraordinary power. Imagine waking up every morning knowing that every decision, no matter how small, is shaping the person you are becoming. While others are waiting for perfect opportunities, you are quietly building a future through repeated actions. Day after day, your habits begin working like a powerful force moving you toward your goals. Months later, people around you start noticing changes. They notice increased confidence, greater discipline, stronger skills, and visible progress. They may think success suddenly appeared, but you understand something they do not see. The results they admire were created long before they became visible through small choices made repeatedly when nobody was paying attention. Many people look at successful individuals and see only the final picture. They see the awards, the achievements, the money, the confidence, the lifestyle, and the recognition. From a distance, success can appear exciting and effortless, almost as if some people were simply born lucky. What they do not see is the long journey hidden behind those visible results. They do not see the sacrifices made in silence, the moments of doubt, the endless hours of work, or the decisions that required choosing long-term goals over short-term comfort. Success often looks beautiful from the outside because people usually arrive after the struggle has ended. They admire the mountain without realizing how difficult the climb was for the person standing at the top. Sacrifice is one of the most misunderstood parts of achievement because people often associate it only with loss. When they hear the word sacrifice, they immediately think about giving something up and missing out on enjoyment. But real sacrifice is not simply losing something valuable. It is choosing something more important over something temporary. Every meaningful goal asks for a price. Sometimes the price is time, sometimes comfort, sometimes entertainment, and sometimes immediate pleasure. A student sacrifices relaxation to study for a future opportunity. An athlete sacrifices comfort to train for excellence. A person building a dream sacrifices distractions in order to create something meaningful. Success always asks one question: what are you willing to give today for the future you want tomorrow? Life presents choices every day, and often those choices appear small and harmless. Imagine someone choosing between practicing a skill or spending another hour doing something unproductive. One decision may seem insignificant by itself, but repeated choices begin shaping a person's future. Most people do not fail because of one giant mistake. They fail because of small, repeated decisions that slowly move them away from their goals. In the same way, people rarely succeed because of one extraordinary action. Success is often the result of repeatedly choosing discipline over convenience. The difficult part is that these choices usually happen when nobody is watching, when there is no applause, and when there is no guarantee of immediate results. One reason people struggle with sacrifice is because human beings naturally want instant rewards. The mind loves comfort because comfort feels good in the present moment. It whispers messages like, you can start tomorrow, or you deserve a break, or missing one day will not matter. While these thoughts may sound harmless, they slowly create patterns that weaken discipline. The challenge is that future rewards often feel distant and invisible, while present comfort feels real and immediate. That is why many dreams remain unfinished. People become attached to what feels easy now, instead of remaining committed to what will matter later. Learning to delay immediate pleasure becomes one of the most powerful skills a person can develop. Think about the stories behind extraordinary achievements. Behind every visible victory, there are countless unseen moments of persistence. There are mornings when people woke up tired and continued anyway. There